Kolbrin Bible, Book 6, Book of Morals and Precepts, Chapter 4, Life. NPR 4:1. Commune with your soul within and consider how wonderfully you were created. Meditate long upon your nature. Contemplate the powers you possess. Consider your needs and desires. Thus, you will find the proper path through life and a sure guide to direct your footsteps. NPR 4:2. As the union of heat and tinder produces fire, so does the union of soul and body produce life in man. NPR 4:3. Nothing is constant in life except wisdom, knowledge, and skill. Life ebbs and flows as the tide, and the fortunes of men wax and wane as the moon. The rich become poor, and the poor become rich. And the powerful become weak, and the weak become powerful. Where the stream flowed yesteryear is now dust, and the cooling waters have moved elsewhere. The lakes of last season have joined the wilderness, and the dikes have become pits. Fortune smiles upon the improvident, and misfortune smites the worthy. Men are born handsome or ugly, rich or poor. They inherit a life of ease or a life of struggle. NPR 4:4. Here is wisdom. Accept the nature of things as they are, for as such they accord with the plans of God and are under the law. But accept them not with resignation, as an affliction to be borne, but as a challenge to contest. Man must rise to meet life or be overwhelmed. This, too, is the law. When the road seems long and the load heavy, remember that the stout-hearted runner carries the greatest burden. NPR 4:5. There is no constant state of life. All is movement and change. Therefore, it is well to build the structure of your life on a foundation of things which are not easily removed. These are wisdom, skill, and knowledge which, once possessed, cannot be taken away, as can be hoarded gold and cherished chattels in the ebb and flow of life's fortunes. Gold and silver are uneatable stones, but wisdom is the food of the gods. Skill and knowledge define the difference between the ox with the yoke and the plowman with the whip. NPR 4:6. Fear not the feelings which stir in the heart, for therein lie the greatest of life's treasures. Taste their honeyed bitterness, and though you are consumed as you consume, something will remain which is yours forever. Life is matured and mellowed by the treasures which pain the heart, and without them the soul cannot develop. NPR 4:7. With some, life is generous, and with others, niggardly. But whether you pass through the stages of life in a lowly or a high condition, your life will be neither wholly happy nor wholly miserable. NPR 4:8. Whether life is indulgent towards you or austere, whether it metes out reward or chastisement, remember that its dispensations are governed by an infinite wisdom and the ordinances of the law, though incomprehensible, are just. Therefore, when life turns undue attention upon you, accept it not as a dumb creature, but say, "What have I done that this is my reward?" NPR 4:9. The dispensations of life and the course of events are such that prosperity will attend a good life, and adversity a wicked one. Is this not proved by the normal course of the affairs of men? If not so provable, then the moral disease of the people is established. NPR 4:10. Travel the road of life according to your ability, and your foot will find its appointed place. Take time and consider every action. He who journeys leisurely journeys best, and the runner who hastens not unduly is he who reaches the goal. NPR 411. As the dew to the herb, as the honey to the bee, as the north wind to the raven, and the twilight to the owl, such is life to the spirit of man. NPR 412. Think not with the weakling that nothing is more precious, nor with the hermit that he should reject it. Think not too highly of it, nor consider it worthless. Love it not for itself, or for what you can get out of it, but for what you can do with it. NPR 413. Forget not that life has but one purpose, one end, and one objective, and that is the awakening of the souls of men. All things on earth conform to that end. Earth without its perplexities and problems, its struggle and strife, its inequalities and injustices, would never develop the soul in a manner met for its destiny. This is the answer to the riddles of ages. If all were right with the earth, there would be nothing for man to do. As it is, there is sufficient to occupy him throughout his generations. When man himself is perfect, its purpose will be fulfilled, and then earth too will be perfect. NPR 414. Riches cannot buy life, nor can gold purchase back wasted hours. Therefore, employ the future that you have left to your greatest benefit. Lament not that you were born, or desire that life should depart. Life has a purpose and meaning, even for one as miserable as you, and the law may not be set aside. NPR 415. Whatever your estate, and however lowly the circumstances to which you have fallen, you still have the power for good in your right hand, and the power for evil in your left hand. NPR 416. Would the fish rise to the bait if it knew the hook were hidden therein? Or would the lion step on the pit if it saw the stake below? No, neither would man wish to live, or the soul to perish with the body. Neither would a just God have created him, and the true God, if he be anything, is just. NPR 417. Life is yours. That you requested it not is of small consideration, for the choice was not with you. Therefore, accept with good grace that which has been allotted to you, deriving from it whatever benefits it may bestow. NPR 418. The benefits are great, and were they readily apparent, life would be accepted with due gratitude, and endured, whatever its afflictions, with resigned anticipation. Life, if so lived, would be futile, and its purpose confounded. Therefore, only by dire efforts can man come to know the everlastingness of his soul. The law decrees that man shall never be assured of his immortality. NPR 419. Life must be lived from the beginning to the end. Run the race easily, for the course is long, and the runner who runs the race best is he who conserves his strength in the early laps. NPR 420. Be not disturbed or overwhelmed when misfortune accompanies your passage along the way. Be not dispirited when the pace is hard, or faint before the obstacles. Accept the challenge of adversity with high spirits, for as the flame is to wax and the furnace to copper, so is adversity to the soul. NPR 421. Every sorrowful blow that falls upon the soul is a tempering stroke. The metal that suffers the fires of the furnace longest is the finest in quality. NPR 422. Give prudent thought towards tomorrow's problems, but let them not tax your mind unduly, for problems in the womb of the future may be stillborn. NPR 423. Though the pathway of life be uneven, the going is not always rough. Take it as you find it, but beware where the going is smooth, for their evil will set its trap. Danger lurks where least expected. NPR 424. When you journey without possessions, you journey without care. But when you are burdened with many goods, they bring the attention of evil men. NPR 425. He who sleeps uncovered may sleep soundly, but when covered with a mantle, it is well to keep one eye open. NPR 426. Know that life is unimportant, unless properly lived. A noble death is better than a wasted life. He who exchanges a life of wickedness for a worthy death makes amends, and the scales are adjusted accordingly. Let your aim be to live as long as you should, and not as long as you can. NPR 427. While to others your life is worth more than death, then your duty is to preserve it. While you serve best by living, live. But when by your death the living may best be served, then shrink not the burden of manhood. NPR 428. If your life be disposed of to the benefit of others, then let a worthy price be extracted, for the law decrees that no man shall relinquish his life easily. NPR 429. The span of man's life is neither long nor short, but sufficient for its purpose. Whatever benefits a man wishes to attain for his soul may be attained in his lifetime. A lifetime is sufficient to fashion the soul to ultimate glory or to ultimate horror. NPR 430. What end would a longer life serve? To the wicked, an opportunity for more evil. To the selfish, more time to hurt others, and to the miserly, more time to lay up worthless things. The slothful ones would rejoice, for there would be more time for their idleness. But the burden of the industrious would be that much greater. NPR 431. The good may say, why then should not our lives be lengthened and years added unto us? Know they not the goodness of the labor done in their lifetime shall have been sufficient, and no more is required of them here. If they have served well on earth, they are candidates for higher service in the regions of light, for the opportunity for service ceases not at death. NPR 432. To what end would you live longer? To do the things you have not done, or repeat the things you have already done? What you have been unable to do will be done by others, and does not man experience repetitious pleasures with decreasing enjoyment? Would you increase your knowledge or develop your skill? Who then shall teach you more than is to be learned on earth? Or where on earth can practice carry you beyond perfection? He who would go further must go to a higher place of instruction. The works done on earth pass away, and the fruits of man's labor are reaped elsewhere. NPR 433. Each man's life should leave its impress on earth, and each man should depart a better man for having lived. Repine not for lost opportunities, for opportunity does not perish at death. Do your best here, and you will do better elsewhere. Be wise here, and you will be wiser in another place. NPR 434. Earthly success is not the measure of a man's achievement, for a gain here may mean a loss elsewhere. An earthly loss may mean a spiritual gain. The scales are always just. NPR 435. When in old age you say, alas, that life is short, then consider the way you abused and wasted it in your youth. Is not your reward fitting? Remember that the paths to pleasant old age are chosen in youth. They are the paths of simplicity, moderation, cleanliness, and virtue. NPR 436. Consider the ruthlessness of rulers, the greed of the rich, and the willfulness of the powerful. If these dare to enslave the earth and wreak misery upon the people, knowing they can enjoy the fruits of their oppression but a brief span of years, what would they not set out to achieve? Were their span of life doubled, or were they immortal? NPR 437. Therefore, the great God in his wisdom has ordained the proper span of man's life. If then you think life is short, why dissipate it so, and why waste the precious days? Is it not economy which makes a man rich, and not abundance? NPR 438. The wise man lives fully all his life, and he is always conscious of being alive. The fool is always beginning to live, and the weakling shrinks from it, and seeks forgetfulness and comfort. Those who half live are already half dead. NPR 439. Live lustily and manfully, for life is to be enjoyed. It must be savored to the full. Better one day as an eagle than 1 year as a goose. NPR 440. What is life, that man should seek to prolong it? Is it not a continual avoidance of snares, a struggle against illusion, a series of mishaps, and a pursuit of shadows, which retreat from the grasp? It begins with ignorance, continues through strife and worry, and ends in sorrow and pain. It is a day of heat, and death comes as a cool night. NPR 441. Are not the troubles of life piled one upon another, as the stones of a pyramid? Are not all our hopes based only on possibilities? And do not our expectations look forward into improbabilities? NPR 442. Fools fear as men and hope as gods. Bounded by mortal restrictions, they desire the achievements of immortality. But everlasting life is the reward of those who live good earthly lives without the inducement of immortality. Therefore, the prize is never revealed, and life maintains man in a state of doubt and perplexity. Hope he may have, but never assurance. NPR 443. Life raises some men up and casts others down. Not always does it bestow good fortune on the worthy, or met out to the unworthy their just deserts. It raises men up to test them, and likewise casts them down. The man who discovers a golden treasure is being tested, even as he who is stricken with blindness. Each man is tested according to his weaknesses, not according to his strength. The reward of the worthy is not here, neither is the punishment of the wicked. Were the just rewards and punishments of men too readily apparent, the course to take in life would be too obvious to serve its great purpose. There must ever be the stimulus of doubt and perplexity. NPR 444. Among men, some are born to rule, and some to obey, but not all rulers can rule, or all servants obey. If then you cannot rule, learn to obey. And if you cannot obey, make yourself a better man, that you may be raised up to rule. NPR 445. Wisdom is nourished from without, but it grows from within. We live not by light of the great sun disk above, but by the light of the cool sun within. NPR 446. The bitter experiences, the sorrows and failures of life are the alternatives to the advice you have failed to heed. Who then has brought them upon your head? Instruction alone cannot give knowledge, nor can books bestow wisdom. The pupil sits at the feet of his master and gains knowledge, and the scribe reads the books of men. But wiser is he who sits under the stars and contemplates the universe, or reads the great book of God about him. NPR 447. The satisfactory life is that which realizes the dreams and ideals of youth in old age. But life itself is the test master of these, and few pass his examination. NPR 448. Life is not of the earth, though it appears thereon. It remains not with the body at death, for it accompanies the soul into the journey beyond the grim portal. Death is but the termination of life's association with the mortal body. The last drawn breath on earth is a farewell. MPR 449. Life passes from earth through the portal of death into the existence beyond. Therefore, it is said that the life of man is everlastingly indestructible. MPR 450. Life alone exists in both spheres, but life on earth is inconsistent. Life is a dancing girl.